You gotta be kidding me.
West, we got Rams at Niners, division game. Always feels like a fun one with these guys whenever things
Oh
go
yeah,
down.
it'll be
Rams coming off a
sweet.
big win. Niners coming off a big win. Must starts, risky starts, and don't starts. Guys, you have to have in the lineup. Risky starts, guys that we're not sure if you need to have them in there. We gotta have a consideration there. And then don't starts, get them out of the lineup. Wes, you start with your must start.
I thought I had to burp. That's why I paused, and I was like, I need to unleash
No, it's all good,
some
dude. We both got
massive
mouth
gas.
stuff
All right.
going on in this episode.
So, yeah, that's
a
always
fun
good to
one.
just take out of context.
Two
Okay,
dudes
so
doing mouth stuff.
check out our Patreon. Whoa, no thanks.
Man. That one's behind a paywall. Yeah.
Here's the deal with this matchup. There are so many players that are going to be in lineups. This first round of fantasy playoffs is really dependent on these players. I think a lot of players have made playoffs because of people on both the Rams and the 49ers. So I have no problem saying a lot of these guys are must starts. I can hear a case for all of them. So in my opinion, who can I make a case that you must start that isn't a complete layup? And I'm going to go with Matthew Stafford as a must start if you have him. If you don't have him, don't worry about it. I'm not saying he's my stud, but if you've got Stafford and you are wondering, I know his game was he didn't do a lot in fantasy as amazing in fantasy as he could have been. He was QB8. But do I start him after this shootout against Buffalo for a chance to win the division? I say go for it. If you got Stafford, I think you go put him in your lineup because you know what happened with the 49ers last time I played in week 3? He had 221 yards and 1 touchdown, and they won the game. That was fine. No Puka Nacua, no Cooper Kupp. Now he's got both. And did you see what happened with Puka and Kupp? They dominated. That's the Stafford that I thought could be top 10 on the season because you and I both thought Cooper Kupp was an easy top 5 on the season.
Yeah.
Puka has proven to be one of the best wide receivers. I think we can go into the next year saying he's a top 10 wide receiver in the NFL.
Absolutely.
And there's an argument beginning to be made. So
yeah, he should be in the conversation with Jamar Chase. Like with Jamar Chase, with Justin Jefferson, I think he's in that tier. I think he's better than AJ Brown. I'd take him over AJ Brown.
You're good.
In fantasy,
You're good. Fantasy. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah,
sure.
yeah.
I was thinking like reality.
Fully NFL terms, but yeah.
I think in fantasy,
early for
Cooper Kupp is going to be a concern for me because I think Puka Nacua is going to be like the primary guy. I think
it'll be interesting.
Puka is the guy, and I think Puka deserves to be first round again. And so that being said, I think Stafford deserves to be in your lineup if you got him. Don't go chase him on the waiver wire. And there's some obvious quarterbacks to start over Stafford, but I think that's the one that I'm going to put my stake in for first round of playoffs.
That's fair. I like it. My must start is Jauan Jennings. I talked about him already, the 2 down weeks, but without the blizzard and without Brock Purdy, he has been awesome since he returned. He's stepped into the top receiver role for Brock Purdy, the top pass catcher role for Brock Purdy. He's been awesome. Elite wide receiver rest of season. In my opinion, he must be in lineups for Thursday night. Start out your fantasy playoffs strong with Jauan Jennings. He's my must start.
Yeah, and when you shared the stats again, it's been phenomenal, and I'm excited to see him continue to be great. I hope he's great next year as well. And we will be.
I don't think Deebo will be there, so I think that's going to contribute. And I wonder how early Brandon Ayuk will be ready. So I think Jauan Jennings, depending on where he goes in drafts, is going to be very, very valuable, especially at the start of the year. Yeah.
I like it a lot, and I like it. I think both the players we said are players that people are asking the question, should I start? And this is why I like when we don't just say like start Puka Nacua. It's like Durhay, obviously. Okay, risky starts. He really, for me, this is my risky start. He really should be a don't start, but I can make the case that it's a risk, and I think the risky start is Deebo Samuel, and it's risky because We know how he does against the Rams, and this is an important matchup. And there's no Christian McCaffrey, and now another running back is hurt for his team. And you'd like to believe that there is a chance that he gets some handoffs and some jet sweeps and some weird trick plays to help him get the freaking football again. But obviously, he's been so bad. He hasn't had a double-digit game since week 10. He's been terrible. He's been terrible. Yeah. And this is the guy that you and I were complaining about last season, going into last year. We're like, this guy's such a fluke. You kidding me? Like, he had so many of his opportunities on the ground game with Christian McCaffrey. Yeah. There's no way he's going to. And then he had a great season still. We're like, well, maybe. It's like, no, this is the guy. So I think it's a bad risk, but I'm not going to say don't start him, because I can see somehow, some way against the Rams, which he did not play them earlier this year. The Deebo could just find a way to do what he does against the Rams and end up with 25 points for no reason. And then we're all kicking ourselves, but I don't like it. It's still a risk. My risky start.
Yeah, that's fair. My risky start is Patrick Taylor / Israel Abanikanda. Just don't know what the workload's going to look like. I'm a little concerned there. It might be tough if you're in a situation where you had McCaffrey or Mason. You missed him. You spent all your fab on Garendo. You don't have him. Now you're in a desperate spot, and you have to play Patrick Taylor. I get it. It might be a little bit scary. I just don't know what the workload is going to look like, what the split is going to look like. It's a risk, and you're hoping he finds the end zone. I think that's kind of just where you have to be at with them. But I don't love that Purdy's been rushing the football more. And I just, if you can, I would stay away. I think it's hard because it's early, but like if I heard early on that Alexander Madison was going to be out again and Zamir White was going to be out again, I'd probably rather start a guy like Sincere McCormick and just hope for getting those 10 points than go with Patrick Taylor or Israel Abanikanda. So risky starts are the San Francisco running backs not named Isaac Garendo, really.
Yeah. And you'd like to say, like, well, don't start in first round of playoffs, but I don't know. I mean, I don't know.
Do you have a choice? Yeah.
Yeah. Shanahan is the running back whisperer, it appears to be. Don't starts. I've really been thinking, man. I'm really thinking. I don't have anybody. I don't think there's no one you shouldn't start. I've never done this. But of the main starters that we are rostering, okay? Because obviously Rams tight end we're not rostering. And DeMarcus Robinson's hurt, so it doesn't count anymore. I'm not going to go down the depth chart to find just someone to say don't start for on the Rams. And the same with the 49ers. You make the case for the running backs. I can't say don't start them because, oh my gosh, Christian McCaffrey, obviously, and then there's Jordan Mason, who saved people's seasons, and then there's Isaac Garendo, and who knows? Who knows? I think Israel Abanikanda is great. Kind of got cheated out of New York with all the draft picks they kept getting for running backs, but I can't name anybody you shouldn't start. Brock Purdy's been on fire. He had one down game in a blizzard against Buffalo. Other than that, it's great. Since week 6, Brock Purdy, QB6, QB8, QB4, QB5, QB12, blizzard game, QB6. He's been on fire. George Kittle had another great game. I mean, and Deebo's my risk. So there's no one I don't think you shouldn't start. I have a guess who your don't start is, but I'll leave it at that.
Yeah. Don't start Deebo Samuel.
Yeah.
I hate that dude. Same notes as last week with Laporta. I hate that dude. Don't start him.
Yeah.
He had tweeted out earlier on Monday.
Who did?
Something like Deebo. He was like not slowing down, like nothing wrong, just not getting the ball or like whatever. And it was like, you don't look like the same player that we've known before, but okay.
Yeah.
He just doesn't look as like he used to run through tackles so much, and he just doesn't look like, I don't know if he's injured or if the injury is hindering him more than we realize or what it is. But don't start Deebo Samuel. Hate that dude so much. Hate that guy.